Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. Today we are taking a look at Engine DJ 2.0. You'll notice there has been a name change there. It's not Engine Prime anymore, it is Engine DJ 2.0. But that includes the music management software on your computer and Engine OS, the operating system that's embedded inside the Prime series hardware. There are lots of new things to talk about. This could well be the biggest update they've done so far. So let's get right to it.
There's so much to look at here, it's kind of hard to prioritise, but I'm going to go with the thing that's got me the most hyped, and that is engine lighting, aka onboard sound switch. It's only a few weeks ago that version 2.3 of Sound Switch was released, and in my video looking at that, I was having to really bite my tongue because I was already playing around with Engine DJ 2.0 and I knew this was coming. While Sound Switch has worked with the Denon DJ Prime series hardware for a long time, it still needed to have a computer running the Sound Switch software in order to use it in your performances. Well, now in Engine DJ 2.0, that restriction is gone. There are two ways of working with it. If you don't have the Sound Switch software at all, you can connect wirelessly to a Philips Hue bridge and use those lights with pre-scripted auto loops. This is perfect for those who are playing at home or doing live streams and want some nice synchronized lighting effects without any hassle. It's also completely free, so if you already own some Philips Hue lighting in your house, it will cost you nothing to use it. But if you want to go to another level, you use the Sound Switch software to set up your venues, fixtures, and script custom shows for your tracks. You can then export all of that information to your drive at the same time as you export your music using the Sync Manager. Once your drive is loaded in the hardware, I'm using the Prime 4 here, then you have access to either simple or advanced lighting control modes, overrides, static looks, basically everything that you have in the Sound Switch software, but right there inside your device. You can still use Philips Hue without a Sound Switch interface, but plug one of those in and you have full control over your full map of DMX fixtures. It even works with a separate players and mixer setup as long as it's all Denon DJ kit, like the SC6000Ms and X1850 I'm using here. All of the devices need to be linked via Stagelink with the players mapped to the correct channels, but with that done, all the communication is taken care of automatically. After making my video about Sound Switch 2.3, I went back and watched my original video about it from 2016, and truth is, I was shocked about just how much the product has transformed since then. At the time it seemed rather niche and a lot of work to use, but now it's no more difficult to add to your setup than regular DJ software. If I can do it, then anyone can. And this onboard iteration of it in Engine DJ 2.0 just takes that simplicity to new heights. I absolutely love it. Another new feature in Engine DJ 2.0 which will get some DJs absolutely salivating is the addition of Ableton Link. If you aren't aware, it's a protocol developed by Ableton which any developer can integrate into their software or hardware and then allows it to sync with any other Ableton Link enabled software or hardware, either wired or wirelessly. So that could mean Ableton Live, iPad drum machines, the latest MPCs, other DAWs and even DJ software. I'm using Serato DJ Pro here. In the Prime series hardware, you enable Ableton Link in the settings, then connect to the same network as your other linked devices, either through Ethernet or Wi-Fi. In my demo, I have the SC5000 wired into my network and the laptop running Serato is connected via Wi-Fi. Then it's as simple as making sure Link is turned on everywhere, pressing sync, and off you go. Tempo changes can be made by any of the linked devices and others will follow. The real beauty of Ableton Link is that it just works. There's no faffing around with MIDI settings or anything like that, and the integration inside Engine DJ 2.0 is about as straightforward as you could hope for. The idea that you can now hook up an MPC Live to your Prime rig and have it perfectly synced at all times seems like quite a big win for DJs who like to include live elements into their sets. There are a couple more things to mention before we get into the serious back-end stuff. Firstly, the new control center and menu system in general is much improved. You've seen it in action in this video by now, but it's worth noting. Secondly, the hardware all now has a clock on the display, synchronized to the correct time zone when the device connects to the internet. Okay, it's only a small thing, but I really like it. I don't wear a watch, and so having the correct time in front of me means I don't have to keep looking at my phone when I need to keep track of the time at events. It also means your history playlists have the time tracks were played on them too, which is cool. And the third thing is that the playlist deck option, ideal for dinner music or just background music in general, is now available on the Prime 2 and Prime Go, as well as on the Prime 4 with its dedicated zone output. This takes over one deck and plays through any playlist of your choice. You have the ability to choose a crossfade time in the settings, which although isn't any kind of auto mix functionality, does help cut out those bits of dead air between tracks. It even works with streaming tracks from services like BeatSource Link, as it pre-downloads the next track as soon as one is loaded. Very smooth. So we move on to the biggest thing in Engine DJ 2.0, which is not so glamorous, but very important. The entire database code has been rewritten, and that brings with it some serious quality of life improvements. File analysis is faster, searching is faster, and the whole way playlists work has been redone. Previously, you had crates which could be reordered and sorted by whatever you wanted, BPM, title, genre, etc. Then you had playlists which could only be reordered manually. Now you just have playlists, and those combine all of the features of the older crates and playlists into one. Much better. Streaming tracks are also now far more integrated into the main database too, whereas before they were kind of siloed into their own area within the database. Now when you play a track from, say, DJcity, that track's information is added into the main database on the drive. That means you can create new playlists with them in, mix them with local music in those playlists, and sort them by whatever parameters you like. Previously, the order they were saved in on the streaming service was all you had access to. It also means you can add them to your prepare playlist, they show up in your histories. Not having that was a nightmare for me before. You can play them in the playlist deck, and you can preview them from within playlists without loading to a deck like you could with local files in the past. Those database improvements also make themselves known in the Engine DJ desktop software. No longer do you see duplicates of your files when you plug in a loaded up drive to it, which always annoyed me. Importing from third-party libraries like Serato can be done with one click, so switching to Engine from other software is a piece of cake. Metadata from your streaming music isn't pulled back into the main library, but when a drive is connected, you can work with those files by adding them to playlists, viewing the histories, and all of that. At the moment, streaming files aren't highlighted when you drag them around, but I'm sure that's a small fix. Some other things in the desktop software: Apple M1 chips are now supported, the user interface has been cleaned up, and you can drag and drop folders into the software and it will retain the folder structure as playlists. One big thing that is still missing is smart crates, but I know that's on their roadmap, so I'll let that pass for now, especially as there is so much else new here in Engine DJ 2.0 to get your teeth into.
So there you go, a look at Engine DJ 2.0. This is a major update, not because of the cool new features, as good as those are, sound switch, Philips Hue, able to link, all of that is great. But the really important thing is the rebuild of the database from scratch. This new database is far more fit for purpose than the old one was. It felt like they were just kind of plugging new stuff into that one, and it was never really that great to begin with. Now we have a far more solid, cohesive way of working with music, whether that's local or streaming music, inside the software and the hardware all together. Is it perfect? No, nothing ever is. There's still a few things I'd like to see them add, a few tweaks I'd like to see them make, but I could say that about every single platform that I work with. If you are an Engine user, go ahead, get this downloaded, get it installed, because honestly, it's pretty transformative compared to what we had before. A very, very solid update indeed. Thanks for watching today. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon down below to get notified anytime there's a new video from myself or the rest of the DJcity team. I'll see you soon.